Very good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the current affairs classes. I hope you all are doing well. And can anyone please let me know, is the audio and video all good? Please confirm. Audio video is good? So today I'll be taking up 24th and 25th October current affairs. Remaining we have already discussed comprehensively. So let's begin with the analysis. First news in the ESI finance and banking category is the limit of Mudra loans under your Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. They have been enhanced from 10 lakh rupees to 20 lakh under the new category Tarun Plus. You must be knowing about the PM Mudra, right? So the Mudra Yojana was primarily initiated. It was launched to provide financial assistance and support the entrepreneurial activities in the non-corporate and non-farm sector of the micro and small industries particularly, right? For their development, assisting them financially, providing them collateral-free loans particularly. So this provided initially for three categories. The Shishu category, where you get the loan up to rupees 50,000. The Kishore category from 50,000 to 5 lakh, up to 5 lakh. And then Tarun category originally had loan limits up to 10 lakh. So 5 lakh to 10 lakh. But now, you know, Tarun Plus has been initiated. So it will be providing you up to 20 lakh rupees of loan. This is the new thing, right? So please remember this. This is Tarun Plus. So it has been enhanced, the limit has been enhanced from 10 lakh rupees to 20 lakh under the Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. So please remember this. I hope this is clear. 10 lakh to 20 lakh. Also, overdraft loan amount of 10,000 will be eligible to be covered under this fund as well. So overdraft of 10,000 will also be eligible. Okay. So just remember Tarun Plus 10 lakh to 20 lakh, it has been increased. This was the first thing. Next we have Department of Pension and Pensioners Welfare has recently announced that the central government pensioners aged 80 and above, all the central government pensioners who are aged 80 and above, they will qualify for additional pension called compassionate allowance. So government is planning to provide additional pension. Existing one will be there. This will be in addition to that. So this additional pension, they have termed it as compassionate allowance for the central government pensioners, remember, of 80 and above years of age. Okay. These will be the additional allowances. So from 80 to 85 years of age, if you belong to, 20% of basic pension will be provided. Then if you are there from 85 to 90 years of age, then 30% of the basic pension. 90 to 95 years of age, 40% of the basic pension. 95 to 100 years of age, 50% of the basic pension, and 100 years or more, then you get the 100% of the basic pension. So these will be the additional pension provided to the central government pensioners as compassionate allowance. Remember the age group 80 plus ke liye this is only there. Okay. I hope it is clear. Now moving on to the next news. In the regulatory bodies, we have first thing coming from SEBI. SEBI has barred first overseas capital from taking any new mandate. So this first overseas capital, you know, working in the merchant banker category, first overseas capital has been barred from taking any new mandate as a lead manager for any public issue of debt securities until further order. Why this has been done? Because there are alleged violations of the merchant banker rules on its part, right? So just remember this much. Due to violations of merchant bankers regulations. Then this SRO news we have covered in the last class only. This is the repeated news, right? So self-regulatory organization, if you remember Sadhan, I have told you what is SRO as well in the previous class. It has asked its members that your return on asset should not exceed 4%. 3 to 4% is quite good. We have covered this news in the previous class, so we are not going to repeat it. Then we have artificial intelligence adoption is gaining momentum led by private banks with asset size and CRAR influencing the rate of adoption. So we have private banks coming into this sphere. According to RBI study, RBI says with onset of a lot of private banks coming into the banking system and the financial system, and their better CRAR as well as asset sizes. What is CRAR? So CRAR, you must be knowing the capital adequacy requirements these are. And you have Basel norms for capital requirement, capital adequacy requirement, and your risk management. Basically what happens is the banks, they are required to maintain a minimum amount of capital in relation to their total risk weighted assets. What are the risk weighted assets? They include your loans, etc., other assets. That in case any distress occurs into the banking system or financial system, whether can be coming out of anywhere, you should be in a position of withstanding that crisis. So that's why you maintain a capital adequacy. Say a huge NPA occurs, right? A huge default occurs. So a lot of your assets, they become non-performing. They become stressed assets. Now in that case, you should have sufficient buffer. This is the primary objective of the capital adequacy requirement, right? So that you don't run into a liquidity crisis. I hope you have understood this thing, everyone. So private banks, you see, are very efficient. They are bringing with them cutting edge technologies like AI driven solutions, etc. for banking products, product line which they are offering. So RBI study says that artificial intelligence adoption is gaining momentum with the private banks coming into this sphere particularly. Okay. And the report is titled, remember, how Indian banks are adopting artificial intelligence. So we have a data as well. During 2015-16 to 22-23, both private and public sector banks, they are increasingly emphasizing AI and related technologies, but the pace of increase is higher for private banks. So you can remember this thing because anything coming out of RBI survey or study or reports becomes important for your examination. So please remember that although private as well as public banks both are adopting these AI driven solutions, but pace or speed of adoption is more in the private banks. I hope you will remember, right? This was about the regulatory bodies news. Then we have the banking news. In banking news, you have State Bank of India has raised 5,000 crores through its first Basel III compliant additional tier 1 bond issuance. Okay, at a coupon rate of 7.98%. So by issuing these particular kind of bonds which are written over here, SBI has raised 5,000 crore. Now, what is this additional tier 1 bond issuance? Additional tier 1 bonds, remember, additional tier 1 bonds, they are particularly meant to raise the capital, to raise funds, to meet your Basel requirements, Basel capital requirements, or the latest one, say Basel III capital requirements. So you know there have been Basel I, Basel II and Basel III now, right? Which require to maintain a minimum capital adequacy ratio. Now to maintain that thing, particularly to maintain that capital buffer set out under Basel III, these bonds are issued. Remember this. Clear? They are also used, they have a lot of features, you know, they are a combination of debt as well equity instrument. Now when a loss occurs, they can be converted into equity to absorb the losses. Are you getting my point? Yes, anyone? Tell me. So these are additional tier 1 bonds, particularly utilized by banks to maintain their capital buffers. Also sometimes whenever a loss occurs, they are used to cover the losses. So these are special bonds, right? Additional tier 1 bonds. So SBI basically has raised 5,000 crores via these bonds. As I told you, they are particularly to shore up their capital base, they are utilized. Next, you have India's fastest growing debt recovery solutions provider, NeoWise. It has launched country's first generative AI-powered debt collection tools. NeoWise is particularly working in debt recovery sphere. It helps banks, in the debt recovery processes. So first time in the country, remember, it has introduced AI-powered debt collection tools. Now these debt collection tools, they will help these banks and financial entities in debt recovery. So it is going to be important, right? So this is NeoBot, voice-based debt collection assistant, and NeoSite, AI call analytics tool. Remember, so you have two debt collection tools here, NeoBot and NeoSite. NeoBot is voice-based debt collection assistant and NeoSite is AI call analytics tool. I hope this is clear. And this has been adopted in collaboration with Bangalore-based generative AI startup, Sarvam AI. And as I told you, what is the purpose? It will be revolutionizing the debt recovery processes for the banking system and financial entities. All right. So this was about the ESI finance regulatory bodies in banking sector news. I hope all of this is clear. Now moving on to the national state news category. Let's see what do we have. So first news we have is Prime Minister informing that Germany has increased its annual visa quota for the skilled Indian professionals from 20,000 to 90,000, which represents almost a 3.5-fold increase. Now what does this holds significance for India or Indian diaspora? What is the importance of this news? That Germany has raised visa quota for skilled Indian professionals. So now Germany will be inviting skilled Indian professionals. Our skilled Indian professionals will be getting employment in the largest economy of Europe, which is Germany, right? Largest economy of Europe. So that holds significance for both the countries. Then next we have Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare will be hosting 13th edition, remember 13th edition of National Seed Congress. National Seed Congress is going to be there, scheduled to be held at Varanasi, UP. So please remember the location, Varanasi, UP. It will be held from November 28th to 30th November. And it is being organized by International Rice Research Institute, South Asia Regional Center and National Seed Research and Training Center. Why? This is basically to foster cooperation and innovations in development of seeds, as must be clear with the news. So please remember the theme as well. Theme for 2024 is fostering regional cooperation, partnership and knowledge exchange in the seed sector. So it wants to bring different stakeholders together to increase cooperation, knowledge sharing in the and production in the seed sector. Right, so various stakeholders will be participating in it. Remember, 13th edition of National Seed Congress to be held at Varanasi, UP. Moving on with the next national news, we have NLC India Limited has entered into joint venture agreements for formation of two significant joint ventures with Rajasthan Rajya Vidyut Utpadan Nigam Limited. So what are these? First, basically aims to establish renewable energy projects in the state of Rajasthan to tap on the capacity and opportunities of renewable energy production from the state, which has an immense potential, in solar and wind energy generation. Then second is development of a lignite-based thermal power station in the state as well. Lignite-based thermal power station. So these two are the joint ventures, remember. You need not remember all these facts, just remember what is the joint venture between whom. So your NLC India Limited and Rajasthan Rajya Vidyut Utpadan Nigam Limited, two joint ventures are there. Lignite is the low quality coal. If we talk about the qualities of coal, you must be knowing that anthracite, as we call it, anthracite is the best quality of coal. How do you judge the quality of coal? With less of smoke, or say less of ash content, right, and more of sulfur content in the coal. So anthracite is the best quality, but it is rarely found in India, almost not found in India. So we generally import the good quality coal. But then we are abundant in the lower quality of coals like peat, lignite, bituminous, etc. So these are, and lignite is also the bad quality of coal because it has more of ash content and less of sulfur content. Then we have a commemorative postage stamp, remember, was released on 200th anniversary of Kittur Vijay Utsav at the historic Kittur Rani Chennamma stage at Kittur Fort premises, released by Department of Post. Now, who has been this personality? Rani Chennamma. So remember, this postage stamp has been released. The associated personality, Rani Chennamma, is known for her battles against the British colonial rule, right? So she is known for fighting bravely against the British during the colonial era. Then you have some news from the 55th edition of International Film Festival of India to be held in Goa, as we have discussed a lot number of times. So in this you have Swatantra Veer Savarkar, directed by Randeep Hooda, will be the opening film, remember. So it will be the opening film of the Indian Panorama 2024 at the 55th edition of International Film Festival. And if you look at the other categories, so in the non-feature film, opening film will be Ladakhi language film Ghar Jaisa Kuch. So remember, in the non-feature film, opening will be there by a Ladakhi language film, which is Ghar Jaisa Kuch. Then 25 feature films and 20 non-feature films are to be screened. And as I have already discussed with you, that Australia has been designated as the country of focus for this 55th edition of International Film Festival of India. Remember, Australia is the country of focus for its exceptional performance in the movies or cinema sector. We have discussed all of these things number of times in the previous classes, that it is to be held in Goa from 20th November to 28th November, and also simultaneously you have Film Bazaar along with it. So just remember, and this news has been covered in previous classes, so you must be knowing all these things already. Now moving on to the next news. Ministry of Rural Development has sanctioned road length of 55.89 kilometers under the Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana with an estimated investment of 54.75 crore to the state of Nagaland. So certain road projects have been initiated in the state of Nagaland, which are there. This is basically to strengthen the rural connectivity and accelerate the economic growth, because unless you have proper roads, the market connection of industrial units, agriculture units, farms with the market becomes difficult. So the entire, back-end and forward linkages, backward linkages and forward linkages, they get affected. So it affects the economy of the state or any region. Having proper road connectivity is important. So these are the certain road connections. Ministry of Rural Development has sanctioned 88 roads measuring almost 782.155 kilometers and 55 bridges in the state of Meghalaya. So along with Nagaland, this has been initiated in Meghalaya as well. This is not so much important. Moving on to the next one, we have Union Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment has organized a seminar on economic inclusion for the vulnerable population. Economic inclusion for the vulnerable population in collaboration, remember, with whom? With the World Bank on 25th October in New Delhi. What is the aim? The aim is to strengthen the delivery of social protection schemes as well as policies along with the expertise and experiences of these global institutions like World Bank, to make economic processes more inclusive, to go with inclusive development and distributing the proceeds of growth equally. if not equally, with less inequality, because equality is a utopian idea, cannot exist ever, can never exist. But what you can do is you can reduce inequality, right? So this is the thing, inclusivity seminar, remember, in collaboration with World Bank in New Delhi. Then we have Meta. Meta has partnered with Indian AI and Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, MeitY, to promote open source AI research and skill development, right? So this partnership is going to result into initiatives like establishing a Center for Generative AI, Srijan, at IIT Jodhpur. So this collaboration between Meta with Indian AI and MeitY is going to result into establishment of Generative AI Srijan Center at, remember where, IIT Jodhpur. Also launching AI for skilling and capacity building with AICTE. So it is going to empower the economic and tech industries of India, having multi-dimensional purposes. But remember, Srijan is going to be there at IIT Jodhpur. Then we have Union Minister Shri Rajiv Ranjan, Minister from Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairying, has launched the Pandemic Fund Project on animal health security, strengthening in India for pandemic preparedness and response. Now this is important, please remember, this fund has been launched in New Delhi, and this is of size $25 million funded by the G20 Pandemic Fund. So what is the purpose of this fund? This particularly, as the ministry associated with clearly suggests, that it is regarding the livestock or the animal rearing sector. So this fund has been started for preparedness of any unforeseen situation or a pandemic or a crisis, like we recently had the corona pandemic, so that we can protect the animal husbandry sector or our livestock from the diseases as well, or we can provide them with the better treatment, etc. So this is for the overall preparedness from any such incidents. Also remember, 21st livestock census has been launched. 21st livestock census has been launched. This is going to be very important and significant in policy formulation. Via this census, they will be collecting data on the livestock, their population, region-wise distribution, etc., etc. All categories of livestock, right? So animal husbandry, fisheries, etc., poultry. Now this is going to be important for further policy making, and this will give us idea what kind of policies we require. So remember, 21st livestock census is there. I hope this is clear. Then we have Pravasi Parichai 2024. Pravasi Parichai 2024 has been celebrated where? At Indian Embassy in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. This was an event to celebrate the cultural and artisanal dimensions basically of the countries, right? So it has been celebrated at Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, to transform the embassies all into artistic heaven, as I told you, to celebrate the traditions, culture and artisanal activities. So remember, Pravasi Parichai has been recently celebrated at Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. Then we have National Disaster Management Authority, in collaboration with your Environment Ministry, has hosted a brainstorming workshop called Forest Fire and its Challenges in New Delhi. So this workshop has been initiated, Forest Fire and its Challenges, where the location was New Delhi. As the name only suggests, it emphasizes preparedness and the risks associated with forest fire, how to mitigate it, so mitigation processes, etc. Challenges posed by forest fires in India. So we have discussed here the challenges of forest fires due to climate change, etc. What are the challenges, what are the threats, how can we mitigate it, how can we be prepared for it? Remember this. This was about the national news. Then we have some cabinet approvals. So moving on to the cabinet approvals. Cabinet approvals, they become important. So first one we have is establishment of 1,000 crore venture capital fund for the space sector under the aegis of InSpace. Remember this thing? 1,000 venture capital fund under the aegis of InSpace for startups working in the space sector has been approved by the cabinet. Now this InSpace, remember, InSpace is an autonomous agency under the Government of India, Department of Space. Remember, this particularly was created to increase private participation. Private participation. This was established to enhance private participation in the space sector, okay, in space. So the venture fund has been launched to support these startups working in these space technologies and projects. You can see here 1,000 crore venture capital fund. Venture capital fund basically they invest into startups with growth potential, high growth potential, right? So there's a difference in the angel investors and venture capitalists. Venture capital funds, they generally invest into startups and companies having high growth potential. So 1,000 crore venture capital fund has been dedicated under the aegis of InSpace, as I told you, Indian National Space Promotion and Authorization Center. And remember, as we have discussed, InSpace was launched to increase the private participation in the space sphere or sector. So this fund will be assisting the startups coming out of the private startups trying to collab or work for the space economy basically. This is the breakup of the fund, how it will be utilized, just estimated. So 25-26 mein 150, then crores, then you have 20-26 mein 250 crores, then 27-28 you have 250 crores, 28-29 mein 250 crores, 29-30 mein 100 crores, so total 1,000 crores, right? Then we have Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs has approved 2 railway projects of Ministry of Railways. 2 railway projects they have been approved. They are primarily aimed to enhance the railway connectivity in the state of Bihar and Andhra and your northeastern states, right? So Bihar and northeastern states mein connectivity enhance karne ke liye they have been launched. So remember, what are these projects? First is doubling of your Narkatiyaganj, Raxaul, Sitamarhi, Darbhanga and Sitamarhi Muzaffar section covering 256 kilometers. Then you have construction of a new line between Erupalem and Namburu via Amravati covering 57 kilometers. So this is covering Andhra Pradesh as well, covering Bihar and northeastern areas as well. Remember that, okay? The project is also expected to generate direct employment of about 106 lakh human days, okay? So it is going to generate employment activities. Also, these 2 projects will be covering, as I told you, northeastern states, Bihar, Andhra Pradesh, 8 districts in 3 states, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana and Bihar. Then we have India has imposed anti-dumping duty on 5 Chinese goods for 5 years to guard its domestic producers from the cheap imports, abnormally cheap imports. These are, first of all, you understand what is dumping. What is the process of dumping? So dumping is a process when, you know, a country exports the product manufactured in that country into your economy at a price lower than the price in its own market. Say suppose there is a good X being sold at say 500 rupees in China's market, right? Originally it should be sold at 500 rupees. Now to enter your market, to capture your market, they are selling it say at 200 rupees for example. Now this is exceptionally lower, right? This is dumping. You are selling, you are exporting products into some other country at a price which is lower than the price you are offering in your own domestic market. Now this is to capture the market of the other country, right? It hurts Indian producers because we are not able to produce with that much lower cost of production that we can sell our own domestically produced items at such a lower price. Are you getting my point? So then no competition. The market is swept away. So to protect these domestic producers, government imposes anti-dumping duty. Now this duty raises the price of such imported goods in par with the market value, so that they become competitive with the domestically produced goods. This is dumping and anti-dumping duty. I hope this is clear. So this has been imposed on 5 Chinese products. These are the products: your isopropyl alcohol, then sulfur black, then cell phone transparent film, then you have thermoplastic, then you have unframed glass mirror. These are the items. So please remember this. Now moving on to the state news category, let's see what do we have. In the state news, we have government e-marketplace. Government e-marketplace has signed an MOU with the Sikkim government to work towards increased adoption of government e-marketplace among the Sikkim buyer departments for procurement of goods and services. So what is this government e-marketplace? Government e-marketplace is it was basically launched to streamline the online purchases of regular items, goods and services by the government departments. So for procuring these items more transparently, the government e-marketplace was launched. Now they want the Sikkim government procurement department as well to have all these things. Now it, makes the process transparent enough that what you are procuring, at which price you are procuring, how much has been spent, etc., etc. So just remember this thing. Then we have Assam government has launched the Sustainable Wetland and Integrated Fisheries Transformation Project. So remember, this SWIFT project has been launched by Assam government. Sustainable Wetland and Integrated Fisheries Transformation, to revitalize 129 beels. Beels are these particularly wetland areas. So in northeast region, generally they refer to wetlands as beels. Beels generally they call wetlands as beels. It is funded and supported by Asian Development Bank, and total outlay is 800 crore to restore these wetlands, because they work as sponges, They have a lot of work to do. Wetlands are very important for environmental and ecosystem balances. So you see, wetlands, they also work as kidneys. They filter out the polluting elements. They absorb the excess rainwater. So they recharge the groundwater as well. They support a lot of biodiversity. So wetlands have a lot of significance. That's why these kind of initiatives, they become relevant. Flood control, groundwater replenishment, as I told you. Also fish production. To increase the fish production is also one of the aims, by 1200 kg per hectare annually in the state of Assam, apart from wetland restoration. Then we have Asian Development Bank has approved 434.25 million loan to increase renewable energy capacity and improve energy security in the state of Assam. So Assam will be getting this much of loan assistance from this much amount of loan from your Asian Development Bank for renewable energy capacity. And the Assam Solar Project will be constructing a grid-connected solar photovoltaic facility in Karbi Anglong district with a capacity of 500 megawatt. And remember, this storage system will be established through a joint venture between the Assam Power Distribution Company Limited and the Oil and Natural Gas Corporation of India Limited and Tripura Power Company Limited. Then we have Bihar CM has inaugurated and led the foundation for certain projects worth 7,160 crores, which includes construction of your government buildings in panchayats and several resources centers, etc., street lights, right? So these are certain projects. This is not so much important, remembering all these facts. You can just remember that 13 district panchayat resource centers, Then certain panchayat government buildings, in e-gram, you have the kachari, court management system and portals. And so basically this is to enhance and develop the panchayati raj infrastructure in the state of Bihar. Then we have the European Investment Bank will be providing a loan of 2800 crores for the Bengaluru Suburban Railway. So remember, Bangalore Suburban Railway is getting this much loan from European Investment Bank. This is for Bangalore Suburban Railway. It is expected that this suburban railway is going to cut pollution and carbon emission as well, also enhancing women's safety via the travel. Will be stretched over 149 kilometers with 58 stations, remember. So please remember who has committed to give loan, European Investment Bank, for this project. Next we have TVS Industrial and Logistics Park. So TVS Industrial and Logistics Parks is planning to invest rupees 200 crores in setting up facility in Pitampur, Madhya Pradesh. Okay, so this is expanding its industrial facility, basically. Not so much important, just remember the name of the company and the location, Pitampur in Madhya Pradesh. No requirement of any discussion here. Then we have Reliance Infrastructure Limited has announced the setting up of an integrated project for the manufacturing of explosives, ammunitions and small arms in Maharashtra. So they will be engaging in production of these items, right, in Maharashtra over the next 10 years, for which they have been allotted with 1,000 acres of land in the Vatad industrial area of Ratnagiri, Maharashtra, to develop the Dhirubhai Ambani Defence City. So remember, this will be there, Dhirubhai Ambani Defence City, which will be producing, manufacturing explosives, ammunitions and small arms as well in Maharashtra. So this was the other section. Now moving on to the international news. In the international news, we have India has provided a line of credit of 487.6 crores to the government of Mauritius for financing a water pipeline replacement project. So this is for a water pipeline replacement project that Indian government has committed to provide this line of credit of how much? 487.6 crores to the government of Mauritius for water pipeline replacement. Now this line of credit will be utilized for to replace the existing water pipeline by the Mauritius government. Just remember that. Also remember what is the difference between a loan and line of credit. So like you get a credit card, right, is a line of credit, but then when you get a loan from the bank is a loan. So in line of credit, you get multiple access to the sanctioned amount. In the loan, you get one-time access that has to be used for a particular purpose, right? Line of credit mein there is no purpose attached. You can use it for a variety of purposes. Although if it is sanctioned for a particular purpose like this, it has to be used for this. But just the difference between a loan and credit, line of credit, in line of credit is like a credit card, right? So you pay for what you have utilized, the fund which you have utilized. You get multiple access to it. You can also renew the amount, right? So these are the basic differences. So remember, and this is the first ever rupee denominated line of credit extended by India for a project financing under the Indian Development and Economic Assistance Scheme. Under this scheme, it has been provided. 100 kilometers of pipeline this is, which has been obsolete. So now the replacement work is going to be there. Now talking about the MOUs and mergers. So let's see what MOUs and mergers we have. The first one, we have Indian Institute of Advanced Study in Science and Technology, Guwahati, has signed a crucial R&D collaboration and product development agreement with the Bharat Biotech International. For what? This is to bring innovations in the health products, okay? To bring innovative health products developed from probiotics isolated from traditional fermented foods of Northeast India to the market. So they will be isolating these probiotics from the traditional foods prepared in the Northeast India, and they will be utilizing them to make the medical products or health products more innovative. Then we have the National Thermal Power Corporation, NTPC, has partnered with Indian Army to establish a solar hydrogen based microgrid at Chushul in Ladakh. So remember, a solar power based microgrid has to be established in Chushul, Ladakh. It is a solar hydrogen based microgrid system. It will be using hydrogen as energy storage of medium supply to 200 kilowatt of power round the clock throughout the year. So it will be using hydrogen as energy storage. Now the purpose of this is basically to supply power and energy to the Indian Army in the area, right? Continuous supply, also facilitating the operations of Indian Army in the area. So remember this, Trishul, Ladakh mein it is going to be there. Then we have India and Germany exchange a joint declaration of intent for cooperation and research and development on advanced materials. Not so much important. Then we have IIM Shillong and SIDBI, a small industrial development bank of India. IIM Shillong and SIDBI have signed an MOU to promote entrepreneurship in the Northeast. This will be promoting entrepreneurship activities. They will be providing training, etc., mentorship. 18 months of training will be there to enhance more entrepreneurial skills in the northeastern region of India. Next, we have Atul Green Tech has signed an agreement with Exide Energy Solutions for supply of lithium-ion battery. You see, lithium-ion batteries, they are gaining prominence, right? So Atul Green Tech has signed an agreement with your Exide Energy Solutions, remember. As per this agreement, the Atul Green Tech will be initially sourcing the lithium-ion battery specs from a facility in Gujarat, and then later from its facility in Bengaluru. It will be sourcing these. Then we have Air India and Singapore Airlines. They have expanded their code share agreement by adding 11 Indian cities and 40 international destinations. So remember, recently your Air India and Singapore Airlines, they have expanded their code share agreement. Now what is this code share agreement? Code share agreement between two airlines is like providing one ticket in which there are say airline A. So let's understand this with an example. There is airline A provides the ticket for the flight to be taken, flight to be boarded with airline B, right? So providing certain ticket services by airline A, this provision comes from airline A for say flight to be boarded with airline B. These kind of code share agreements are there to expand their operational capabilities in the country or across the countries, right? So this is the thing. So please remember, recently Air India and Singapore Airlines, they have expanded their code share agreement, and for that they have included further 11 Indian cities to provide these kind of services, as well as 40 international destinations. So this was about the international one. Moving on to the science tag. So first we have Cabinet Committee on Security led by the Prime Minister has approved establishment of a new missile testing range. Remember, important this is at Nagayalanka in Andhra Pradesh. So one new missile testing range is to be established in Andhra Pradesh, which is Nagayalanka. You might have heard about these famous missile testing ranges in India, the Mahajan range, the Pokhran range, etc., right? So this is going to be one addition into the list at Andhra Pradesh, Nagayalanka. And it will of course be bolstering India's defense capabilities, particularly for the missile testing and all. Then we have in the defense sector, Defense Ministry has signed a contract with a private firm to procure 6 air cushion vehicles for the Indian Coast Guard. So for Indian Coast Guard, they will be procuring 6 air cushion vehicles. They are also known as hovercrafts. What are these air cushion vehicles? They have a capability of running through different surfaces. They can be operational on a water-based surface, on a marshy surface, on a land surface, right? So with the use of these air cushions, they can operate on a variety of surfaces. These will be procured by a private firm for the Indian Coast Guard. Then we have 31st edition of Singapore India Maritime Bilateral Exercise, SIMBEX. Remember, 31st edition of SIMBEX, Singapore India Maritime Bilateral Exercise, scheduled from 23rd to 29th October. Location is Eastern Naval Command at Visakhapatnam, Andhra Pradesh. And 2 phases may it has to be there. One is harbor phase at Visakhapatnam, and then is sea phase in the Bay of Bengal. Then we have Abhay, the 7th anti-submarine warfare shallow water craft is being built by GRSE for Indian Navy and was launched on 25th October at Alante, Kattupalli. So remember, launch of Abhay as the 7th ship of the ASW SWC, which is anti-submarine warfare shallow water craft. It is going to enhance our defense capabilities, right, with the induction of the 7th one in the Abhay series. Remember. And the contract for this was signed between your Ministry of Defense and the GRSE Kolkata. So GRS is basically your Garden Reach and Shipbuilders, Shipbuilders and Engineers based in Kolkata. Other facts, relevant facts, you can just go through them in the PDF. Then we have India's 4th nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarine. Now this is important. This is 4th nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarine. So it is capable of, it is equipped with the K4 nuclear ballistic missiles. Okay, was officially launched into the waters at the shipbuilding center in Visakhapatnam. So this is S4 star. Okay, this is the 4th nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarine. Remember, it represents a significant leap in the submarine capacity, and it is also equipped with the K4 nuclear ballistic missiles with a range of 3,500 kilometers, which can be launched through vertical launching systems. Ballistic missiles it is equipped with, right? So primary difference between ballistic and cruise missiles, as I have discussed a lot of times with you, is their trajectory. A lot of differences are there, but then primarily just to remember so that you get a picture when you read about the cruise and the ballistic missile is like this. So ballistic missile goes like this. So this is the trajectory of ballistic missile, and cruise missile goes like this. I hope this is clear. So remember BS4. Then we have Indian rankings and reports. So travel platform Skyscanner report is there, titled Travel Trends Report 2025. According to it, there are certain trending destinations 2025 in which you have Shillong from India. So remember, in this list, in trending destinations for 2025, you have one destination from India, which is Shillong, okay, from India. Then you have Baku from Azerbaijan, then you have Langkawi in Malaysia, then you have Tromsø in Norway, and then Tashkent in Uzbekistan. And then best value destination in 2025 is Almaty from Kazakhstan, Jakarta in Indonesia, then you have Singapore, then you have Kuala Lumpur and Phnom Penh from Cambodia. So remember, trending destinations mein we have Shillong, best value destinations mein you don't have any location from India. Then we have, according to the Brand Finance's recently released 2024 Global 500 IT services ranking, global 500 IT services में best performing ranking में you have Accenture has emerged as the most valuable IT services brand. Accenture has emerged as the most valuable IT services brand in 2024, witnessing a 2% increase in its brand value and reaching a $40.5 of brand value in 2024. So remember, Accenture has topped the list. And from India, you have TCS. You have TCS from India at second, then Infosys is at third. So remember this. Now moving on to certain reports. So we have CRISIL. According to the CRISIL, the revenue growth of Indian companies has been estimated at 5 to 7% year-on-year growth due to construction-linked sectors. Now, slowest growth this is there, right, in 16 quarters. Why? Because of stagnant performance in the construction sector. This news we have covered in the previous CA classes as well. In the last class which we have covered before this one, we have covered this news already. So I hope you must be remembering, I have highlighted this fact that construction linked sector is the reason of this fall in the year-on-year growth, according to CRISIL. Then we have current climate policies. So, according to a United Nations report, the current climate policies will be resulting in global warming of more than 3 degrees Celsius by the end of the century. So we will be having the rise in temperature by more than 3 degrees Celsius by the end of this 21st century, okay, according to the United Nations report. This is quite high. This is actually twice the rise agreed a decade ago. So this is twice what has been agreed upon a decade ago. And the report is titled as Annual Emissions Gap Report, which takes into consideration the stock of countries' promises to tackle the climate change is there. It finds that the world faces as much as of 3.1 degree Celsius of warming above pre-industrial levels by 2100. So this much the global average temperature is going to rise. That is a huge alarm and can pose a lot of threats. Now, what has been the agreement? If you remember, governments from all over the world in 2015 set up for the Paris Agreement. In the Paris Agreement, they decided a cap of 1.5 degree Celsius of warming from the pre-industrial level. Right? So this was the agreed amount. The world is becoming warmer basically. And then you see subsequent challenges will be there. In the awards, we have Department of Water Resources, River Development and Ganga Rejuvenation, Ministry of Jal Shakti has launched 6th National Water Awards 2024 on the Rashtriya Puraskar portal. Remember, 6th National Water Awards. Now, these water awards, they are basically given for exceptional performances and contributions in water conservation activities. So, there are 10 categories total. Then, trophy and citations, they are to be provided in 2 categories only. That is for the best state and the best district. Cash prizes along with trophy and citation will be provided to the remaining 8 categories. What are the cash prizes under this? So for the first, second and third rank respectively, you have 2 lakh, 1.5 lakhs and 1 lakh. Okay. Now if you look at the categories, these are best village panchayats, urban local bodies, college, etc. So these have been opened up, nominations have been opened up. Let's see who gets the prize. Okay. Nominations have been opened up and then the winners will be announced. Then we have Marmagaon Port Authority. Remember, this is also important. So your Marmagaon Port Authority has become the first Indian port to be listed as an incentive provider on the Environment Ship Index portal, acknowledged by International Association of Ports and Harbors. Now, the International Association of Ports and Harbors, it acknowledges, recognizes and incentivizes the harbors or ports which are reducing their carbon emissions. So this is Marmagaon Port. reducing its carbon emissions or greenhouse gas emissions, right? And it is also giving incentives to the vessels at the port who are able to reduce their carbon emissions or greenhouse emissions. So that's why you have this Marmagaon Port Authority becoming India's first port to be listed as an incentive provider. As I told you, provides incentives to the vessels for reducing their carbon emissions, ship vessels, on the Environment Ship Index portal. Now this Environment Ship Index portal basically acknowledges all such harbors and ports and incentivizes them, rewards them for their sustained efforts to sustainable development. So this ports incentive program was Harit Shray. Remember, this was for belonging to the Marmagaon port. Harit Shray, it was launched in October 2023. Then you have Indian actor Dara Singh Khurana has received Mahatma Gandhi Leadership Award for his work towards raising awareness about mental health issues at the Commonwealth Year of Youth Champion. Remember, this is just a mere fact, you can remember this thing. Then we have HDFC Life. HDFC Life has been recognized by Avatar and Seramount among the best companies for women in India. HDFC Life has been acknowledged as one of the best companies, particularly for women employees in India. This is working towards more inclusive workspace for women, etc. Right? So remember HDFC Life, creating more supportive ecosystems for women. Right? And it was therefore honored among 12 companies in the BFSI sector. BFSI is banking, financial, social security, insurance sector. Right? And that's why HDFC Life has also received the Exemplars of Inclusion recognition in the Most Inclusive Companies Index for making women or for fostering inclusion of not only women but also people with disabilities, okay, in its operational framework. So it is including all these strata of the society, including LGBTQ plus community people. Then you have people with disabilities, women. This was about it. Then next we have Nepal's Urmila Chaudhary. Remember, Nepal's Urmila Chaudhary, a prominent social campaigner, has been honored with the prestigious Global Anti-Racism Championship Award 2024. So Global Anti-Racism Championship Award goes to Urmila Chaudhary from Nepal for her sustained works, you know, for fighting racism and supporting marginalized castes and communities. This has been awarded at Department of Stats in Washington, D.C. Remember, and there are certain other awardees, you can just go through the list. Remember, Urmila Chaudhary from Nepal. Then we have European Parliament has announced that the 2024 Sakharov Prize of Freedom of Thought will be awarded to Maria Corina and President-elect Edmundo now for their efforts to restore democracy and freedom in Venezuela. So you know what is happening in Venezuela. Now for their sustained efforts for restoring democracy and peace in Venezuela, these people are to be awarded with the Sakharov Prize. Now what is this prize? Basically it has been named after a Soviet physicist and dissident, Andrei Sakharov, right? And this is European Union's highest human rights honor. So this is highest human rights honor, honoring their sustained efforts for restoring peace, harmony, democracy in Venezuela. Then we have five-time singles Grand Slam champion Maria Sharapova, very important sports personality, and American twins Bob and Mike Bryan, they were named to the International Tennis Hall of Fame's class of 2025. Just remember this fact. Then we don't have anything in the books and festivals category. We have something in the sports. Yes. So you have South African cricketer Kagiso Rabada has etched his name in the cricket history. This is important, remember, by becoming the fastest bowler to reach 300 test wickets based on the balls bowled. With this, he has surpassed the legends like Wakar Yunus, and then you have Dale Steyn. Then we have Indian spin veteran Ravichandran Ashwin overtook Australian legend Nathan Lyon by taking 189 wickets, and with this milestone he also became the leading wicket taker in the history of ICC World Test Championship. Remember Ravichandran Ashwin. He accomplished this feat during the second test against your New Zealand. Remember the location at Maharashtra Cricket Association Stadium, Pune. So Pune was the location in Maharashtra. Then we have Indian men's football team has climbed one place to 125th in the latest FIFA rankings released as India hard fought 1-1 draw against Vietnam in an international friendly recently. And we have a new coach, remember, Manolo Marquez. So remember the name of the new coach, and remember 125th in the latest FIFA rankings, Indian men's football team. Then you have India's Vishwajit Ramachandra More has bagged the bronze medal under 23 World Championship in Tirana, Albania. Okay. Under the under 23 Wrestling World Championship. So remember Vishwajit Ramachandra More, bronze medal. Then talking about the appointments. So Justice Sanjeev Sanjeev Khanna, not Verma, Justice Sanjeev Khanna has been appointed as the 51st Chief Justice of India effective from 11th November 2024. So remember 51st Chief Justice of India is going to be there, Justice Sanjeev Khanna, and he will be replacing D.Y. Chandrachud, right? And his tenure will be starting with effect from 11th November 2024. Then you have Prabhakar Raghavan, IIT Madras graduate, has been in news because he is appointed as the Google's chief technologist with 300 crores of package. Then you have pension regulator, PFRDA has appointed Chitra Jayasimha as the chairperson of the Board of National Pension System Trust. Next in the appointments category, you have India's Central Bank has approved Pranav Chauda as the CEO of JP Morgan Chase's local banking unit of 3 years. Now this is something we have already covered in the previous news analysis. Then you have Dr. Neena Malhotra, IFS 992 batch, presently officer on special duty in the ministry, has been appointed as the next ambassador of India to Kingdom of Sweden. So remember, Dr. Neena Malhotra is going to be the next ambassador of India to the Kingdom of Sweden. Then we have RBI approving the third term for Axis Bank MD and CEO Amitabh Chaudhary. Then you have President appointing, so President Draupadi Murmu has appointed Mazhar Asif as the Vice Chancellor of Jamia Millia Islamia University. Talking about the conferences, so we have 17th Urban Mobility India Conference and Exhibition started at your Mahatma Mandir in Gandhinagar, Gujarat on 25th October. Mahatma Mandir in Gandhinagar, Gujarat, 25th October. It was inaugurated by the state's Chief Minister and organized by your Union Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. What was the aim of this? So as the name only suggests, Urban Mobility Conference. The theme is, remember, standardization and optimization of urban transport solutions. So collaborating for providing more innovative urban transport solutions, enhancing the logistics, infrastructure, etc. is the primary aim of collaboration in this conference. Talking about certain obituaries in committees, so committees may we don't have anything. Obituaries may we have a name of Ron Alley, the actor who played the title character in Tarzan, has died unfortunately. Then you have important days. So in important days mein, we have United Nations Day. Remember, United Nations Day observed annually on 24th October to mark the anniversary of establishment of United Nations Chamber. Since then, United Nations is working globally to promote collaboration among countries, peace among countries, and security as well, right? So then we have 24th October also observed as World Polio Day. Remember, to raise awareness about the crippling disease. And this Polio Day was established in 1985 by Rotary International to commemorate the efforts of Dr. Jonas Salk, who developed the first successful polio vaccine. So remember Dr. Jonas Salk. Then you also have 24th October observed every year as the International Day of Diplomats. International Day of Diplomats. Now this International Day of Diplomats is particularly observed to recognize and honor the sustained efforts of diplomats in reaching out to the global diaspora, also expanding the scope of soft power diplomacy, also acknowledging their efforts in resolving a lot of conflicts on the table only, right? So this is International Day of Diplomats. Then we also have the International Dwarfism Awareness Day. International Dwarfism Awareness Day, also observed annually on October 25th. This is to create awareness about the lives and challenges faced by people who suffer with dwarfism. Then we have persons in news. So you have Indian women's hockey legend Rani Rampal has been in news because she has announced her retirement as the player. She has played 254 international matches and scored 120 goals since making her debut in only at the 14 years of age in 2008. And she has also played a key role in the Indian team that won a silver medal at the Asia Cup. So remember, Rani Rampal has played an important role in the Asia Cup in 2009 and helped the country secure a bronze at the Asian Games in 2014. So this is the contribution of Rani Rampal. So she has announced her retirement as a player. Very famous Indian women hockey player, Rani Rampal. Okay. How can I get access to your offline classes? I watched Measurement of Growth lecture and found it really interesting. Archit. So you can buy the course. In the course, if it is uploaded there, if the classes are uploaded in the courses, you can just go and buy the courses, then only you can access them, right? So I don't exactly remember where this particular topic I have taught is there in which course. You can ask the team, okay? They will assist you for this, all right? So this was about the current affairs from 24 to 25th, and only till 25th October will be relevant for your upcoming IRDAI examination on 6th November. I wish all of you very good luck and all the best. I hope these current affairs classes, they are useful for you. I have tried to explain all the terminologies which are there in the PDF so that you understand what is happening around you, apart from mugging up the facts, themes, figures, etc. Right? So please keep on revising these things, prepare your content, revise them comprehensively, dedicatedly. And at the end, I'll say at this time, don't multiply your sources. Just revise what you have read throughout the year, right? If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Otherwise, I'll end this session. Any doubts? Anyone? Yes. Anyone? Do you have any doubts from today's session? Since there are no doubts, so I will be ending this session here. All the very best for the examination and revise these current affairs dedicatedly. Thank you so much for being interactive and focused in the classes. I'll see you in the next set of classes. Till then, have a great day. Have a great Diwali. Happy Diwali to everyone as well. Thank you so much. Have a great day.